Well, good evening to everybody, or good afternoon. It's 4 o'clock right now. I hope you're having a great Sunday. Currently, I am streaming here from this is my new setup here at home. I'm not done with it, it's a work in progress, but this is the first time that I've actually streamed on Facebook and on YouTube. So we'll have to see if this thing actually works. So far, there's nobody even on here, or it looks that way to me anyway. So maybe I can take a look here and see if anybody's on or not. All right, there we go. We got some people on here showing up now. What's up, guys? Hope y'all are having a good one. Again, this is my new setup here, and this is the first time I've streamed. I'm not getting audio through my mic, so you guys hear me? Do you hear me? Let me know. I mean, it shows up here on my stream that I've got audio, but Cameron just messaged me and said there was no audio. So let me know if you guys can hear or not. What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, I am watching the game right now, as a matter of fact. If you look here, I got it on. Got it on the phone right now. Let me know if y'all can hear. Okay, everybody can hear me. I don't know what Cameron was talking about. Cameron, you may need to turn your stuff up. I don't know. YouTube is hearing me. Facebook's hearing me. So, but anyway, this is my new little setup here, my little gig here. I've invested quite a bit of money into the. Let's see. Your Cameron's telling me all kind of stuff. Let me see what he's telling me here. I can hear you, but it's not coming through your mic. So maybe. Oh, I know what I need to do. I have to add my mic here to it. So give me a second here while I add my audio input here. So give me a second. All right, so I think that allowed me to add it. I think. Test 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, there it is. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute this one, and now you guys, I'm probably too hot here, so let me see if I can turn this down just a little bit. So see, this is the first time I've actually gone on with my new streaming here, and I've done some I've got a good mic. You can see this is a good mic here. I've got the black lights here behind me. I've got a really nice PC. You can't see it all here, but it is really cool. It's a gaming PC, and like I say, I invested quite a bit of money. Thank you, Garrett. There into this, and I'm not done. It's a work in progress. I'm going to turn this. This is one of the smaller rooms in my house. I'm going to turn it into a complete though streaming studio. I'm going to put some stuff up here behind me. And I'm going to have a green screen over here on the right. And we're going to do, we've got plans to do a podcast. We've got plans to do, weekly stuff on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, you name it. We're going to be, that's okay. I'm on YouTube as well. You can be on YouTube. I want to build my presence on YouTube, but, I've just not, I've just been working on this for a while now. So we've had a lot going on here. I just turned it back up. Can you guys hear me now? So we're a lot of this is, I don't know, Cameron, what I'd do without you. So a lot of this is trial and error at this point in time, honestly. So it's all a work in progress. So it sounds a little bit low. Well, I just turned it up some. So let me see if I can gain this mic up a little bit here. I'm not sure that I can, but let me see here. Check, check, check. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. All right, so I turned it up. If it's too loud, let me know. I need to find out the perfect balance. Okay. All right, now everybody says it's good now. So, all right, now, all right. So let's try to talk a little bit about weather and what's going on. And Cameron, are you in the studio right now? Cameron can text me if he is. Well, I can probably bring you on with a collab camera here, so we can get you in. So my goal here is for great video, which I've got a little 4K camcorder I'm using as a webcam right now. Um, and and then we got this good microphone here we're using. And I'm using Streamlabs, not OBS, but Streamlabs and OBS are kind of the same thing. So I appreciate it, Ryan. But it's a work in progress. It'll get even better. You know, we've got plans to really make this really kind of special here. Okay. Cameron, we may try to TikTok a little bit later on then. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the winter weather. You know, we've got this winter weather advisory that's out now for all right. So I know we lost everything. So what happened was I forgot to add my audio source over there on this other one here. So if you will, you know, give me a few seconds here. So I'm going to go back over there to that other this other scene. So you guys can. I'm about to add my audio source again. This is a work in progress, so you know you can expect these kinds of things. So give me just a second. So I got audio going back on the camera again, but I'm going to put my microphone back on. So just give me a second here, and we'll talk a little bit more about you know what's going on here with everything. So there we go. All right. So now you guys can hear me. All right. So here's what's going on. If we take a look at the current observations across the region, you know, our temperature has made it up to 40. So to me, there are some, I guess you would say, negatives in regards to, you know, the chances for freezing rain. So negative speaking would be not negative for us because we don't like ice. We don't want all that stuff. But negatives would be well, let's just change the term for and against ice. So in my opinion, when it comes to forecasting ice, it is very, very, very difficult. Man, you must be way ahead of me, touchdown Lions, because I'm still on. Let me see. I may not be caught up here. Yeah, I'm behind you by a little bit there, so I'm pulling for the Lions, but I got a little bit of money on the Buccaneers to cover. I need them to win by, you know, I need the Lions to win by less than 6, but I am pulling for the Lions. All right. So anyway, um, so I'm gonna say the things that are against us having ice, and when it comes to forecasting freezing rain, in my opinion, it is very, very difficult to forecast for. It's actually easier to forecast snow than it is to forecast freezing rain because you can have snow when the temperatures are actually not at freezing. Okay, you can have snow when it's not freezing outside. Um, and that snow can actually help bring the temperatures down because what you do is called latent heat processes, and what happens is you throw snow into a dry, warm environment, and it melts it. So what's happened when you throw, let's say you throw ice into a room, ice cubes, and let's say we're in a room, throw a bunch of ice cubes in it, it starts to melt. What happens? Well, it cools the room down. So what happens with that ice is it has to absorb the warm air for it to melt. So at the same time, it's dispelling its cold air for it to melt. So see, that's kind of how it goes. That's why it's getting rid of its cold air but absorbing the warm air. So it's kind of cooling the room. Well, when you're trying to freeze something like freezing rain, you're getting rid of the warm temperatures from that water. It's dispelling it, and it's absorbing the air around it. It's called latent heat processes. It's real confusing, but number one, we have modifying cold Arctic air over us now. It's modifying and being replaced by strong south winds out there, being replaced by balmy south breezes. It's called warm air advection. So that in itself typically helps to push temperatures up. Okay. At the same time, if you don't have like really strong cold air in place, then like I said, I mean, you start throwing water into the atmosphere that's warmer than its surrounding environment. That too helps to kind of bring the temperatures up. Okay. Now there's something that's called wet bulbing. So what happens with wet bulbing is, and I know this probably gets real confusing, and I don't mean to confuse you. I'm just we just got time to talk about things. I try to explain a little bit more about what's going on now. And what you're doing is you're hearing my brain. You're hearing me. You're actually hearing me forecast here, and you're hearing my thoughts. In this situation, we have cold air that's modifying and beginning to get out of the way. It's beginning to go away. We're trying to transition from this real cold weather to warmer weather. All right, but at the same time, the air is still real dry outside. Our current temperature is sitting at 40 degrees. And something else that's real important that you have to do in these situations, you have to look at the dew point temperatures. All right, so look at that. And dew point just basically measures the amount of dryness or the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. All right, so you can imagine by looking at those brown colors there, you can imagine that is, that's dry air. You're right, it is dry air. And a dew point of 18 here in Wichita Falls indicates a very low dew point temperature. So what that means is it's just dry outside. So you have a dew point of 18, then you have a temperature of 40. All right, so the distance between the dew point and the temperature itself is called a temperature dew point depression. And the temperature dew point depression is how we measure relative humidity. And when that relative humidity is low, as it is outside, the air is dry. So what happens is when you get moisture that drops down into dry air, let's use the shower example. You get out of your shower, what happens? Whoa, it's cold when you get out of that shower, right? It's because the water is evaporating off of your skin and it's cooling your skin. It's called evaporational cooling. Sometimes when you're running a high fever, doctors will suggest that you get into a lukewarm tub of water, and that'll help bring your temperature down too. So evaporational cooling, that is what you're looking at to help facilitate this potential ice event here. Okay, so when the temperature and the dew, when you throw that moisture into the atmosphere, what happens is the dew point begins to rise because you're moistening things up. You're adding moisture to the atmosphere. And as that happens, evaporation is taking place, okay, because you're getting some evaporational cooling. It's still dry outside, and that brings the temperature down. And the point at which they meet is called the wet bulb temperature, okay? And if the wet bulb temperature is at or below 32 degrees, when you do reach saturation, that means your dew point and your temperature are the same, or the humidity is 100%, or close to 100%, then you're looking at the chances for freezing rain. So that's what we're looking at now. So we're well above freezing. We're at 40. It actually really isn't that bad outside considering how cold it's been as of late. But when you throw that into the mix, then, there is going to be room for evaporation to take place, evaporational cooling, and that's going to allow for the temperature to come down. In order for this to happen, though, you have to have steady precipitation. It can't be a little mist here and a little mist there. It has to be steady, and that'll help bring everything together. And as of right now, our wet bulb temperature, or our temperature at which it'll cool to once it rains enough and evaporation takes place, is right around 31 degrees. That can still change, though. Remember, we got warm air coming in, and it doesn't look like there's going to be heavy precipitation, but it does look like there will at least be enough precipitation around to at least produce a very close call in terms of what we see here. Let's look at some weather data here if we could. This is the high resolution, what we call NAM model, North American Computer Model. Now, I am not a big fan of this particular model in general. It's typically not that good. Oh, sorry. It's typically not that good of a computer model, okay? But if we look at this, it shows the green coming in. So it shows that would be your initial rain coming in, and then it shows the saturation taking place, and then boom, you go over to a little freezing rain for a little while this evening. But notice how it expands once it gets east of us. That's where you're probably looking at the heaviest activity. And back behind it, most of that is light. And then here you are in the morning, maybe a brief window of opportunity for a little freezing rain that might continue. But something else that you deal with, like I was telling you earlier about the latent heat process, is something else that you deal with when it comes to freezing rain. Another thing that makes it difficult is, unless you have what's called strong cold air advection in place, if it rains too hard, it tends to bring. But remember, when you're getting freezing rain, it falls to the earth as a liquid raindrop, and it freezes on contact with the earth's surface. Oftentimes, it'll just rain. It's just basically freezing rain. It's just rain that turns to ice after it sits on an exposed object for a little while. Okay. So you get this moisture, you get it falling. If it rains too hard, then all of a sudden it's bringing that warm air in from above the Earth's surface. Because remember, in order to get snow, it has to be freezing from the cloud all the way down to the Earth's surface. To get, oh wow, the Bucks are about to score here. So to get freezing rain, you have to, your precipitation up at cloud level starts off as an ice cube or a snowflake. It falls to the atmosphere, then it hits a warm layer above the Earth's surface. It melts, and then it falls to the earth as a raindrop. So, that's what we're kind of looking at here. Sometimes if it rains too heavily, you'll get that what's called latent heat process that'll warm the temperatures up. So, once you saturate the atmosphere, you no longer have any opportunity in this situation for that wet bulbing to take place because you've already saturated. So at that point in time, if the temperatures go above freezing, then you're not going to go back below freezing. So as you can see, this particular computer model has a little bit of ice over us. That was its high resolution. This is its lower resolution counterpoint. And you can that's probably handling the situation pretty well. But it looks like to me the best chances for the most heavy freezing rain, even with this computer model, and most of them would be over there along I-35. Maybe into parts of Montague County, east over towards Denton, and maybe up towards like Gainesville, and then going to eastern Oklahoma. And those are the areas where you probably have the best chances for seeing your most significant freezing rain. To me, this looks more like again, a travel issue, but there could be some, where you see that winter storm warning there could be some issues over there with some power outages. I don't think we'll see that here. This is just a computer model that's showing an estimate roughly of what could accumulate ice-wise, and you have to be careful about showing. And a lot of these people on Facebook and whatnot show these, but that's probably overdone. It usually is. Let me I'll try to show a more accurate. This will be a QPF. But see, to me, that just looks too heavy. I just think. Wouldn't be surprised if over here you got that much, but over our way. I just don't see us getting, a quarter inch of ice here. I think a tenth of inch at the most, maybe a little bit more. And the Buccaneers just scored a touchdown. What a good game that is. But again, that's the NAM computer model. Now, I'll say this. This is my favorite computer model to use, is the HRRR model, especially when we're dealing with thunderstorms. We're not dealing with thunderstorms here. But this computer model has not done well with this at all. It has shown just rain over us the whole time. As you can see, it just has green. It has very little red. Matter of fact, it keeps most of the rain east of us, and it has very little ice even over that way. Now, its placement of precipitation may not be that bad, but I don't believe it's taking into account the processes, like I say, the wet bulbing processes and that kind of stuff. I believe it's off on that a little bit. The NAM usually handles that better, but and like I say, I'm not a big fan of the NAM model though. Let's see what the RRFS shows this afternoon. It's not done a very good job with it either. It's been all rain. But you never can completely rule out when you look at weather models and whatnot, you can never completely rule out what they're saying, what they're trying to say. Um, but I just believe, with that said, that I believe that these higher resolution computer models, which usually are built to handle these things, that one's pretty accurate there, I would think. Um, Usually they're built to handle these things, but sometimes I feel like maybe they're a little bit off. So we'll just have to wait and see kind of what happens here throughout the rest of the afternoon here. So, all right, you guys got some questions for me? Yeah, Darren Baker has found his way again in that Tampa Bay offense. They're pretty dang good. They're pretty dang good. Uh-oh. It's like I lost my camera feed there. I lost my light feed there on one of those, so it's okay. I'm using a ring light here anyway, so it should be fine. Tell me how you guys like my little outfit here. Is there anything you'd like to see me do differently? What are the total predictable, I know what you're saying, ice accumulation predicted here. So thanks, Casey. It's going to get even better. We're going to make this thing look really good. Cameron and I are working on some things, and we're going to make it look really good. We're going to have some, going to be kind of casual, but formal at the same time. We're going to really roll this thing out. The plan is to really make severe weather and make weather more of an event. Not just a life-saving tool, which, that's the number one reason you do these things, is to be a life-saving tool, right? But we also want it to be an event. And we know weather can be exciting, so we want to bring you, exciting weather. We want to bring you the action and show you the action. We'll be able to do that better when we start getting into severe weather, and we can have storm chasers on here and whatnot. But it isn't going to be all that. We've got other plans too. It ain't going to be just all weather. We're going to do other things too. We have a thing about that we love about. We love about sports. Jaden Knowles, former OU running back, and Cameron Lindsay's a big sports guy. He's a big hockey guy though. I'm not a big hockey guy. I'm a football guy. Some basketball, but mostly football. As you know, I'm a big dog guy. We'll involve my dog some. We're gonna have guests on. I'd love to have some celebrities, but good luck in doing that. So, all right. Paige Swigger says, "It's a chance of us getting the radars are everywhere." It's because and I need to get a radar up here for you guys. Let me see if I can dial into or log onto my computer at work here and get that showing up for you. The reason that they're all over the place is they don't really know how to handle the situation here. Again, you're not. It's not like we have super cold air in place, right? It's modifying, so temperatures are above freezing. So I gotta remember my password. It'll be so you really can't pay that much attention to those color palettes on the radars, because this will start off as rain. Remember, it has to rain steadily, and we have to see some evaporation that takes place before we can start getting temperatures to fall and get you have to get. It's not like sleet or snow where temperatures can start off above freezing and you're getting ice. You've got to have temperatures. In my opinion, you really need a solid 31 degrees to get freezing rain. I mean, you can get freezing rain at 30, at 32, but it's kind of marginal. It needs to be below 32. And to really get significant freezing rain, you really need those temperatures to be even lower than that. I like to see my numbers when I'm forecasting freezing rain to be down in the upper 20s. If you get too low, like 21, 22, it's too cold. and everything winds up as freezing. So, as sleet. I'm sorry. Yeah, but honestly, freezing rain's the one you don't really want because that's the one that creates the slick spots on the overpasses first, and it causes power outages. So you really don't want freezing rain anyway. We're not looking at a power outage situation here, but it is a situation where this would create some slick travel and would probably also create some issues for some cancellations of schools and businesses tomorrow and delays. At this point in time, I do not advise um, schools, and I haven't had any phone calls today, which is good, but I don't advise cancellation of school right now. We need to see how this is going to play out because if we drop, our temperature drops, um, and we sit at 33 or 32 and a half, and then all of a sudden we don't get ice and it's just rain out there and we can go to school, we can go business. But some places are going to get hit harder than others. And I really think the eastern parts of our area are the ones that are going to get hit hardest. I'm talking about Bowie and Nakona, and then kind of over closer to I-35 north of the Metroplex. Ardmore, Oklahoma, maybe into maybe the southeast side of Oklahoma City and over towards Tulsa, Fort Smith, Arkansas. Those areas are the ones that probably are gonna see the bulk of the freezing rain, this go round. But the good news, even though we have off and on rain chances this week, the good news is the temperatures are going to rise pretty fast in the morning. You've got pretty good what we call warm air advection, and pretty good south winds blowing. So I believe that we're going to see a pretty quick rise of those temperatures in the morning. So that's good. I'm trying to pull up a radar for you guys. I've got a radar and a weather suite here. I'm going to. Oh, Detroit just scored. He may have been down in the nope touchdown. So I got a pretty good weather system. I'm about to down. I've actually got it downloaded. Just don't have it installed yet. That we're going to show. So. All right, so it looks like I've got radar, so I might be able to show this to you, hopefully. I know in the past I've tried to show these things. It's been kind of difficult, so give me just a second here. And then we can show this here. Let me pull up winter radar. And so far on the radar, all we have is only... I did, Cameron. I'm on the work computer right now. So far what we're looking at here is just rain. There's really no ice in there at this point in time. Let me put this in motion here for you. And you can see the winter weather advisories that we have in place. Take that off and you can see better. So here comes the precipitation. And this is just about to overspread Vernon, Wichita Falls. And again, this is going to be rain only. This is not going to be ice on the onset. Some of the maps over closer to I-35 indicate that there might be temperatures closer to freezing there, but I'd have to really do some further inspection to be able to know if that's for sure what that is, because I don't know for sure if that's it. But at least initially, we're going to see rain and only rain. We can go to the south, and you can see this is down to the south into Abilene. But if you look, the heaviest activity is going to build north and east into our eastern areas and over towards I-35. Those areas. So, the bulk of the heavier precipitation looks like it's going to be closer to like this area over into here. Hopefully y'all, let me try to expand this a little bit so y'all can see it a little bit better. I think I have to, give me a second here. Oh, there it is. Got to hit play on this thing here. There we go. So I think y'all can see this a little bit better now. Okay, Cameron's want me to use his graphics here. I will. Give me a second, bud. I will. Um, and I will show you guys some graphics. Cameron's done a pretty good job of forecasting this afternoon. So, a lot of times Cameron and I like to rip on each other, but he's a good dude and he's a good forecaster. So, So what you're seeing here, people asking about the colors here, and what you're seeing on the radar this afternoon would be the blue colors represent rain. Remember, I know most TV stations, and we even had it for a long time, were green for rain and blue for snow. But we decided to change some things up to make everything pop on the radar background a little bit better. So on our color palette, it's blue for rain, and where you see that pink color, that would be freezing rain, or at least where the radar thinks there's freezing rain. And remember, it has to be below 32 for that to happen, and that may not be the case. But as this moisture moves in from the south and we see, a good, hour or so of precipitation, you're going to see, as I described earlier, the dew point temperature is going to come up because you're getting saturation, and your air temperature is going to come down because you're getting that evaporation. Where that saturation occurs, what temperature it occurs at, is going to be key and very important to who sees what this evening. Remember, for us to get freezing rain, it needs to be around 31 to 31 and a half degrees. 32, in my opinion, is marginal. It looks like, though, you're going to see some, this over in here is probably going to be more of your lighter stuff. It might be a little bit heavier from time to time, but I think the steadiest stream of heavier precipitation is going to be over in here. Most of what you see here on radar is light rain at this point in time. But as this moves northward, again, you're going to see these temperatures, kind of drop below freezing, kind of through here. It's a question mark. It's more questionable as to whether or not places like I'm gonna switch here sources. Give me just a second here. I'm gonna figure out how to do this. Mm, I'm not used to. I'm sorry. I'm not used to working on a screen that's this small. So you have to give me a second here to figure out how to make all this work here. So mm, don't know that I can. All right, stop there. I knew I had to do something. All right, sorry. I had to figure out how to do that real fast. I do apologize. Let me, here's Cameron's, this is Weatherman Cam stuff here. So I do think Cameron has, first of all, let's look at the temperatures. And there are your temperatures across the area. This is as of 4 o'clock. Your 4 o'clock temperature sitting at 39 in the Falls, 37 in Lawton, 35 in Duncan, 34. So you can see our eastern counties are closer to freezing than the western counties are. So you got a better chance for those temperatures to drop below freezing quicker in places like Nocona, and places like Bowie, and places like Duncan. Again, to the west, we're going to have to see that evaporation take place for those temperatures to come down. We did get to 40 this afternoon. Cameron did a factor graphic, which I like this. Temperatures are trending warmer. Okay, so what he means by that, we're seeing a situation where the cold air is modifying at this point in time. Okay, it's modifying. So with the temperatures themselves modifying, again, you're relying on other processes in the atmosphere that allow that to happen. Okay. Rainfall will be increasing over the next hour or so. And as that happens, the temperatures come down. It looks like our numbers anywhere between about 33, and I'm going to say 31. I think Cameron might be a degree off there. So I'm going to say 33 to 31. If you're at 33 or even 32 and a half, you're just going to stay a cold rain. But if you get to 32 or a little bit lower than 32, then you're going to see some slick spots on those bridges and overpasses. You'll see some icicles hanging, on your, off of your rooftop, and on the, some trees, and you see them on the eaves of your house and whatnot. Whatever happens, though, we see those temperatures rise above freezing tomorrow morning pretty fast, I think. So this is what Cameron put together, and we were talking about this earlier. This is from the NAM computer model, and if this scenario plays out, which I think is a pretty good chance it will, then we got a chance to see about a tenth of an inch of ice. That means slick spots over, most of the area. Although I do think it's a little bit more questionable, kind of down this way here, but it's not out of the question. So, and I'm watching the game right now. The Detroit Lions have the ball back here. They're way down there, close to their goal line though. And then you have your heavier precipitation, and that's where you're heavier. You're probably going to see a bit of an ice storm, I think, somewhere over in here, probably. And that's where you might see some power outages and the more significant travel issues. Now, here is the scenario 2, where our higher resolution computer models, which, and I like them, they usually do a good job with telling us, what's going to happen, especially in terms of precipitation, but they may not be doing a good job with that wet bulbing process. So if you look, the green represents mostly a cold rain over us with ice storm over eastern Oklahoma, then maybe some ice in our eastern county. So I don't think that scenario number 2 is going to be very accurate. I think that scenario number 1 is probably going to be closer to reality, especially over in here. Over in here, your best bet. So we'll need to watch this, and you want to reduce your speed, especially this evening. I mean it, and this will last into tomorrow morning. When you approach those, this is a bridge and overpass type situation. I mean, the ground temperatures are pretty cold, so there could be some ice on some sidewalks and whatnot. But really and truly, to get those roads to ice up, they have to be really cold, and those numbers would have to be way down in the 20s. So be careful if you're going to be traveling. If you have to travel, be careful when you approach those bridges and overpasses. Those are the ones that get slick. Remember, you've got cold air above it and cold air below it. You don't have the ground to warm it up. So those will fall below freezing quickest, and they'll develop ice the quickest. Of course, TxDOT does a pretty good job of throwing out the sand and de-icer and whatnot. So that's the good news. I'm sure they're going to be all over this. You're going to always want to make sure too that you don't have a car right in front of you. Most of the time, whenever I'm out and about driving in winter weather, I don't have an issue with it. Of course, ice, it's a different story, but like driving in snow and driving in sleet, I don't have a problem. I got a big truck though, okay, 4-wheel drive, so I don't have a problem with driving in it. But when I do, the most of the issues that I wind up having are with the other driver. Someone panics, they slam on their brakes, and you don't want to slam on brakes whenever you have, when we have, snow and ice out there, because all you're going to do is lose control. So put as much distance between you and the next driver as you possibly can. Okay. You don't want to drive with cruise control. So those are all good tips by Cameron Lindsay there. Good job, Cameron. Good job, Weatherman Cam. As far as our coverage goes, we don't have an early newscast tonight because of we got the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs on, which I'm taking the Bills. I took Detroit and the Bills today. I took Baltimore yesterday and the 49ers. 49ers got lucky. 49ers got real lucky. They should have lost to Green Bay last night, I thought. That Green Bay team came out of nowhere. That was a good football team. And they're going to be good for a long time, too, unfortunately, unless you're a Green Bay fan. So Dallas don't have anything to hold their head down about it. That's a good Green Bay team. This Detroit team is good, too. They could beat San Francisco. I don't think they will, but they could. All right, but back to weather. I'm actually doing the 10 o'clock newscast tonight because nothing against, no knock on Cameron, but Cameron has to get up early in the morning to do the news. He's going to be in the tracker in the morning, looking at those roads. And knowing Cameron, he's going to find the most ice. He may be in Bowie. He may be in Nakona. I don't know, but he's going to find. Wow, I'm going to throw by Jared Goff. What a good story he is too. He's going to let you know how the roads are in the morning. So when you get up in the morning, my advice is to check your phone, check the First Alert 6 weather app, and also to check, turn on the TV there, and watch Jaden and Cameron's coverage. Okay, I won't. Of course, I'm not going to be up. I'm going to do the regular shift tomorrow night. The only time you'd really see me go in the mornings would be if there was something real. Like this were a major ice storm, I'd be there. But all right, so we got some questions. Hey, but you have some good viewership on here today too. So I don't think travel will be an issue in the afternoon, Darren. I think everybody will see those numbers go up by then. So, Azle, Texas area. Yeah, it's a close call there in Azle. You might see a little bit. It's not out of the question. So just kind of keep an eye on that. I think you're going to be okay, but there may be a little bit of light ice down there too. So keep an eye on that. Seymour, Nancy, it's a close call, but yeah, it's hard to say. Very hard to say. I mean, you're going to have to see those temperatures drop here pretty quickly. It should be raining there now. So we'll know more in the next hour or two. Yeah, that temperature in Waurika at 36. Wow, that's pretty. Now, see, now that's the kind of information I like right there, Jacob. Jacob said in Gainesville had some rain and induced cooling down to 31.6. That's what it does. I mean, I've seen our temperature go from like 37, 38, 39 down to 31 degrees like that when that evaporation takes place. Then it'll quit raining, and then I've seen the temperature go back up again. So that also helps. That also happens too. Yeah, Monte County should be in an area to get some pretty decent ice, I would think. Megan, I don't know. I believe, and I may not be right. You guys, you live in Bowie, right? I can't remember where you said you lived, but I do think there's a pretty good chance that your schools will either be delayed or canceled if over that way. So, temperature in Seymour. I don't know what an accurate reading on the temperature in Seymour is right now, to be honest about it. I believe that the temperature in Seymour, I can probably pull that up. But again, it says 41, but you don't have, or you probably do. It's probably um, with the net they have, the weather net they have down there. So you probably do have a, well, it looks like I'm going to lose my bet because Detroit's about to score here. That's okay though. I won money on San Francisco, Green Bay last night. I predicted them to cover, so, and I'm gonna throw some I think on Buffalo too this evening. So anyway, like I was saying before, um, you don't really have that is a computer is guesstimating what the temperature is there, which is pretty accurate probably. I think your numbers are probably with rain now. You're probably down to about 36 to 35 now because it's raining there. And I do look for our temperature here in Wichita Falls to drop 34 to 35 probably in about an hour after the rain starts. So I think that's a pretty good bet anyway. Um, we can go back over to that radar. It doesn't look like Wichita Falls has the rain, and when some of this may be evaporating too. Like I say, it's real dry outside, so some of this may not even be reaching the ground. But I think where you see those darker blues, I think it is reaching the ground. And I really don't think we're going to see sleet. I think that the air above us is just too warm for sleet. It would have to be super cold between here and at least just off the Earth's surface for it to be sleet. So I don't think we'll see sleet. I think it'll be all rain or freezing rain. I remember some places may stay just all rain, other places might get some freezing rain too. So we will keep an eye on it though and see what happens. So and again, I don't know, Megan. I'm going to say, especially over your way, I'm going to say yes. I would say there would probably be some school delays, but I don't know for certain. So you guys ask some questions if you want to. This is the time to do it. Oh, Detroit just scored. They're up by 2 touchdowns. They're headed to the NFC Championship game. Taking on, that'd be a good game next week between them and the 49ers, I think. So, well, I believe that's all we have for right now. So I will do another Facebook Live update tonight, probably or at some point this evening as this starts to unfold to give you an update. Um, I don't know. It's my computer just gave me a. You know the thing about these virus things, they start popping up on your screen. I have this antivirus stuff, and then it says you got these things, and even though I've already purchased it, then it comes through and it tries to tell me, well, you got these threats found. Then you got to purchase another program in order for us to take this off. I mean, it's always something. There's something always they want you to purchase. So, and this is a new computer, so I did do quite a bit of purchasing, but man, I'm not gonna purchase every time it tells. It's just that's just a bunch of scams and fraud is all that mess is there. So, all right, well, I'm about to jump up on the TikTok live here in just a moment. So, if you want to join me over there on that, feel free to do so. Pretty easy to find, Ken Johnson, I think. So, I am going to jump off here, though, and again, I will do another update this evening if as needed, or I'll give you an update before I head into work this evening. So y'all be looking for that on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitch. Now I'm on Twitch, which Twitch is a gamer site, which I don't know anything about Twitch, but we're on there. And we're also on TikTok. Yeah, but the way you have to do TikTok, you have to do it separately, so you can't. It won't let you do it all at one time. So, all right, guys, y'all have a great evening. Stay warm and stay dry, and just be careful and try not to travel if you don't have